Had some power in that family, huh? All right, give it up for Sean. All right. And we are the Revolutionary Poets Brigade, if you don't know. And I just wanted to throw a shout out because I just noticed the flyer. We're also doing this event in solidarity with 100,000 Poets for Change. So shout out to Mike and Terry if you're watching out there. Gonna bring up our next poet. We've got about 10 more poets to go, so stick with us. We're doing really good tonight, so thank you for turning out, everyone. And if anyone hasn't been on the put on the list yet who wants to read, make sure you sign up at the back. We've got our list at the back there. Next poet up, oh yes, a new poet to the group. Put it together for Lolo Kikariki.
It's the cutest way to get here.
All right. Oh, bravo.
This is one of the original Soapbox poems, and it's about to come into its 20th anniversary in around October. This poem began as a daydream at what was called the Lucky Nun Art Fair on Silver Lake Boulevard. There was a gallery there that would have an open, sort of like a flea market of art. And I was sitting there and I thought, well, okay, what if the artists actually were able to do what they wanted to do? And this poem is called La Revolución de las Artistas. Everything's going to be drop dead gorgeous when the artists take over the streets of LA, straight from the coffee shops, jacked on espresso, at 3 in the morning when they stake out the town. They'll huddle together in strategic locations with cheap walkie-talkies and portable phones. There'll be no more sweating out calls from the dealers, crouched behind canvas like circus freaks. They'll block out the exits to the museums and galleries and hijack the patrons for their beauty tax, take all that money, clean out the art stores, strip all the Krylon cans down to the racks, then murals will spread like glorious bruises over every flat surface from Pomona to the sea. Sculpture will flower in hideous courtyards, overnight mushroom on well-watered lawns. Ha! Damn, what a scene! When the artists have their way and the whole basin blooms like the hills after rain. Then they'll caravan up to the top of Mount Wilson to check out the long view, break out the champagne, watch the sunset like some huge drive-in movie, then zone out mid-sentence, lean back on their cars, while owls wheel out from the tops of the pine trees and God or whoever breaks out the stars. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lalo. All right, next poet up to the stage. It's a pleasure to bring Ernest up here. I've been working with him for several years now, and his poetry's just really been so powerful, and I'm glad to share it with you tonight. Ernest Rosenthal.
Hi. I've had several concerns lately having to do with communicating and coming through because of certain references that I have in my work. Like tonight, I refer to Joseph Campbell and Franz Kafka, and I don't know whether the familiarity with these can be assumed. And the other concern was that I am projecting, obviously, my sensibilities, my opinions, my prejudices, and they're not necessarily shared with everyone else. But the important thing, I think, for us is that we are free to speak out without declaring each other infidels. Okay, this is called Joseph's coat. Myth tracing roots to ancient antecedents provides insidious justification for abhorrent human conduct. Redundant ritual. I have a difficulty seeing this. I'm sorry. Redundant ritual observed as dignified religion gains authenticity through historicity. Myth admirably suits the function for which it was initially intended. Joseph wears a coat of many colors, a twinkle in his eye. He celebrates reconciliation as though universality were the excuse for mankind's every trespass. Call this Joseph's coat. Look up there in the skies. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Joseph Campbell following his bliss, spreading his ample mantle to cover everything. Spectacularly patterned bird beating the bat wings of his coated cape, flashing tellurial psychic patterns, a vehemently splattered coat of devastating stains and bloody blotches drenched in permeating dyes. A veritable map of the terrain and magnitude of mankind's care and sorrow that covers and conceals beneath its grisly camouflage each grim and lurid tale of every human and inhuman sordid kink recorded in the infinitely reenacted ritual of mythical religion. Myth is the mask behind it we enact the fears and foibles flesh is heir to. We show a true self reflected in myth's monstrous mirror on celebrating Halloween. Myth crucifies selectively, but lets us off the hook collectively, redeeming our Mithrian behavior, exonerating execrable excess from Attila and Hannibal to Kabbalah and Cannonball. In Mother Myth's embrace we feel secure. She hugs us to her universal bosom, lets us avert reluctant eyes from fatal doom. Myth attaches soft, distorting lenses to the eyes of the beholder, mellows the image of reality, inducing dreamy visions of endurable self-image, transfiguring the fig leaf function of her own seductive self. Myth has become commodity, amply rewarding managers of myth. Astute myth management produces tourist rates to holy shrines, sells souvenirs, and profitably bottles holy water from polluted wells. Myths, fashions are no mystery. The label in this international assortment of high-styled, unisex, never degradable convenience coveralls for all occasions reads custom designed for us. But will it wash? I'm indebted to Joe Campbell for this delicious morsel of demystification. Said Joseph Campbell, had Jesus and Mary ascended to heaven with the speed of illumination at the crack of AD, they would not yet have left this galaxy. Mind you, this minor galaxy of ours. Such challenging taunts leave believers undaunted. Faster than vision's velocity proves the speed of regressive ideas. Each child of the doctrine attests the transcendent tempo of reindeer. And then I have a postscript which I recently added. This may have seemed a bold projection when it came to mind so many years ago, but now reality has changed once more as truth reverts to myth. When a young poet goes to prison for his life for speaking poetry to power, will there be drones for poets? When Bradley Manning, tortured by the knowledge of the truth concealed, when Bradley Manning, tortured by the knowledge of the truth concealed, tortured again for truth revealed, because political advantage in quest of world dominion lies in the biggest liar's secret armories of drones. Then in these sacred halls of open books and thoughts, we are thrown back upon Franz Kafka's morbid but prophetic vision of political reality fused inescapably upon the grinding gears of mortifying harrows. I'm very badly. I can't see.
Thank you. Give it up for us, Rosenthal. Now, can you Mike? I got another brigade poet that's been here for, first poet I met in Los Angeles. I'm glad I met him too. Give it up for Matt Cedillo.
That mic's sensitive.
All right, so here in honor of Muhammad ibn al-Ajam. But the best thing you can do for anyone in the world is to change the place where you live. So this is a poem about the country we live in. It's called Racism and Capitalism. It's in a book that was published by Casa de Poesía, whose founder's here, editor Mark, and do we have any?
Probably, but we're not pushing books tonight. But anyway,
I'm always pushing books. You're not going to have me somewhere I'm not pushing books. All right, here we go. If you find the Confederate flag offensive, so too should you find the nickel. If you find the Confederate flag offensive, so too should you find the name of this nation's capital. If you find the Confederate flag offensive, so too should you find the American flag. They all stand for the same things: racism and capitalism. When rich kids pass through cities such as Watts, South Central, East Los Angeles, Compton, they're told to watch their wallets. When mayors, governors, city councilmen discuss allocated funds for cities such as Watts, South Central, East Los Angeles, Compton tells all to remember the budget, yet they still find ways to fund the building of more prisons and the ramping up of police departments staffed by lawless men who run wild on the street, making the law as they go. They call this service and protection, but then again, they've always had a funny way of looking at things. Like history books that teach children hollow preambles that include phrases such as "we the people," as drafted by slaveholders and land barons, treaty breakers and backstabbers, as try as our founding fathers. But until times are changing, they're making slow but steady progress in a uniquely American process. But to be honest, I don't feel any change, and I don't see much difference between gentrification and the Trail of Tears, the Chavez Ravine, or post-Katrina New Orleans, because when the hurricane struck, when the levees broke, with a few pen strokes, they set in motion what they had already planned. It wasn't incompetence, it wasn't negligence, no, it was some straight-up evil shit. Oh yes, they planned to rebuild New Orleans along the lines of an amusement park, a beautiful place to visit with nowhere to live. They don't want them back. They don't want them back. Who are they? And what do I mean by them? Let me be clear. Let me be clear. I am not talking about a black, white, Latino, Middle Eastern, Asian divide. No, I am talking about the Fortune 500 America Incorporated. Use your poor, you're tired, you're huddled masses, so we can work their asses. Send us your coffin ship Irish. We'll turn the children of factory workers. Send the sickly Italians to Ellis Island. We'll spread the country that died the Black Lung or Ludlow massacres. You see, back then, if you wanted to form a union, the color of your eyes, the complexion of your skin offered no protection. No, you'd have to shoot out Carnegie and Rockefeller's men, Jay Gould and Jim Crow, walking hand in hand in the robber baron era of white privilege. Poor whites have the right to mob violence, to terrorism, has the privilege to lynch black men, to kill Indians, to beat Mexicans, and then to starve right alongside with them. Because you cannot eat racism. And you cannot clothe your children in racism. And when they question, Mom, where are we going to sleep tonight? I don't know, son. But at least we're not spics is not a suitable answer. Because racism can only ever be used by a privileged few to divide the many, to divide us, to divide we, the people. We are the people, so you cannot lift a finger for the immigrants unless you're prepared to raise your fist and fight for the rights of all of us. And you cannot eliminate black poverty or eliminate brown poverty without eliminating all poverty, because striking at racism without attacking capitalism is like cutting down strange fruits and then leaving the very tree.